The Honda Civic Si has been a fan favorite budget sports sedan and coupe for a while now, but this is the last generation we're going to have a coupe available before the next generation arrives later this year. Is it worth getting the coupe while you can? Here's my few reasons of why I love it and why I think you will too, and some why you might not. Let's get started. Thank you to Honda West of Calgary, Alberta for letting us borrow this vehicle. If you're interested in this or anything else on their lot, the link is right below that like button. One of my favorite reasons on why I would get this Si would be the performance. So underneath the hood, we have a 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine making 205 horsepower, Benji, and 192 pound-feet of torque, which is pretty impressive for a super small engine of just 1.5 liter displacement. That is super small. It brings a lot of joy. Watch this next clip and you'll see how fun it really is. All right, we're gonna do a acceleration test just from a dead stop. As you can see all around me, I'm not moving anywhere. It's not a rolling start, but I'm gonna show you right now what this thing can do. First gear, sport mode on, traction off, even though it's a little slippery, but let's see what we do. Okay, ready? Are you ready? Ready? 3, 2, 1. What'd you think about that, Benji?
Oh, that's crazy. That's insane.
So in terms of how fun this thing is, it's fun. I told you. Welcome back. In terms of why you might not like that though, it's a pro, but it's also a con. The con is that it's a 1.5 liter turbocharged engine in a performance-oriented vehicle. If you're going to drive this for a long time, if you plan on keeping it for a long time, a 1.5 liter engine is pretty small. On top of that, it's turbocharged. It's going to only last so long compared to the previous generation SIs that had naturally aspirated, maybe 2.4 liter engines, right? So that's one thing I would consider kind of, you know, the one negative about it. It's also the one positive. If you're planning on keeping it for just a few years, 2, 3, 4, 5, as long as it's under warranty, it's going to be fun for a long time for you until you get rid of it. So decide what you want to do, but that's one of my favorite reasons. You can daily drive it. It's so much fun to drive. You can drive it normally and it gets amazing gas too, which is pretty incredible. But on top of that, when you need to have more fun with your daily drive, this can also provide that for you. Another great reason on why I personally love this and why you might too, or you might not, is the styling. You take a look at the front, the rear, the side, the interior. It is so nice. It's kind of racer-ish, kind of ricey-ish, but hey, I kind of like the look. It's really nice. My favorite part about this vehicle is probably the rear, but let's start with the front though. So the front, you have a full LED headlight setup. I know in the pre-refresh models for United States, you got halogens with projectors. Sucks to be you, but in Canada, they actually have full LEDs for some reason. I don't understand why. It's probably the, probably super simple thing to do, but I'm gonna leave it at that. So the headlights were great. You had halogen fog lights. You had a little SI badge in the front. It's kind of subtle, but overall, it completed the look really nice. The front end kind of had the Civic hatchbacks bumpers and rear bumpers. It's kind of interesting they mixed and matched, but what do you expect? That's what they're going to do. So the front end overall, it looked super nice. Then you take a look at the side. You have a fairly simple look inside. Of course, this is a coupe, so it's going to look a little different. The thing I probably like the least about the side is the rear 3/4 of the vehicle. Kind of looks very odd, for a coupe, in my opinion. Maybe it's just the length of the tailgate. I don't know. Maybe it's just not much of a fastback look, but that's probably one of my least favorite, that 3/4 kind of angle for the rear on the side profile there. But overall, the wheels, the post-refresh wheels look way nicer, in my opinion, compared to these ones. These kind of have an aftermarket-ish look. They had 18-inch wheels on 235 series tires factory. And then when you move on to the back, you saw a super nice spoiler. I love that about the coupe, that it had a nice spoiler. It was different from the sedan. The taillights as well, they connected a little LED strip all the way across the rear bumper. The center outlet exhaust, which was also super nice. The sedan had that too, but I just love the uniqueness of that, because you don't see that every day, but this came factory the way it looked. And personally, for myself, I really, really enjoyed it. Right, so let me show you what the interior looks like. Classic Honda door handle, a little button in case you want to lock and unlock. Boom. So as you can see, we have a super long door. This being a coupe, of course, is going to have a longer door to accommodate for rear entrance as well, for enough room to have the seat slide over. So you have your typical stitching going along the side, some aluminum accented trim, silver buttons or silver accents, and then your traditional black buttons over here. Move this seat all the way back. Of course, no power seats available on the Honda Civic Si trims. First thing I've noticed was, look at these aluminum accented pedals, which is always super nice. Now, your steering wheel, leather wrapped, red stitching, looks super nice. You have your typical media controls over here, and then your cruise controls. There's no extra safety functions over here. I think that was a separate option back then, but now you can get that standard. Looking in onto your digital display, looks pretty nice. You know, you have a plethora of options you can go through. My favorite probably would be the power meter, which you can see right here. I guess it doesn't show you, and then you have your boost gauge showing over here as well. And then, or you can have a mix of both, which I like seeing whenever you're driving. So other than that, the steering wheel overall is not too bad to grab. It's fun, nice grips as well. So moving on to the center, same Honda display that you'll see everywhere else. Navigation standard, backup camera, heated seats, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is also nice. Yeah, overall it's okay. You know, once again, the system itself, it's not really my favorites. The ones that they have on the Accords and Odysseys, and Passports, those are probably my favorite. But you know, everything else, it's usable. It'll be good for at least 4 or 5 years, and then after that you'll feel like you're in retro vibes again. So, but everything else is not that bad. So put into reverse, you have your backup camera. There's Benji right over there. You have your HVAC controls, the same thing. One of my least favorite things about the Civic as well, for the infotainment, I wish there were more hard buttons to control your climate control. Instead, you got to press this and then select your AC buttons, where you want your fan to blow air out of, and then the speed as well, which isn't really, once again, I like just traditional knobs. Hashtag save the knobs, you know, I got to say it, not shave, but save. And then you have a wireless car charger that came in factory standard from Honda, at least in Canada. Below that, you have a little cubby here for your Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, and then a power outlet over on that side. And then you move it over, you have your glorious 6-speed manual transmission. Super nice, aluminum accented. Your brake hold button, your parking brakes, and sport mode. You press this button, and it shows basically your suspension dampening a little bit. It gets more red accenty-ish over there, so that's cool. Lots of space in the center storage console. The console. You have a cup holder for super large, another USB as well. You can move it in for your smaller cups, a little adjustable tray here as well, and then a little coin tray. And then look at all that real estate, man. That's free real estate right there. But other than that, man, that's kind of really about it. You have your carbon trimmed accents all over the place. They kind of show, you know, it's supposed to be a racy vibe whenever you're in this thing, because of the SI, I guess. And other than that, you know, these seats themselves, they're super nice. Let me bolster them down. They have your little SI embroidering, which is nice. One piece, sport style. You know, they kind of hug you really nice and tight, which is really good. This is another reason why you might love this, or another reason why you might not. But the seats are probably my most favorite part about this interior. Now, let me actually just move this seat as well and show you what the rear seats would look like. So here you go. What's up, Benji? You don't have that much room at all. If you have a normal size adult sitting back here, you're gonna be very, very tight. So it's gonna be tight for you. It's mainly meant for smaller children. But other than that, you know, everything else is fine. You have a couple cup holders on every side. But that's kind of it for the interior. When you're in this thing, you obviously want to be in the front seats, preferably in the front by the steering wheel. While we're driving this thing, let's also talk about the daily drivability. Since I said it's a great daily driver, overall it is. Only issue that I've seen probably driving this for like the last day is possibly bad blind spots. Now, thankfully, you have your lane watch that you can always push the button in, and you'll see a little camera pop up for your infotainment, and it'll show you your right side blind spot. But I'm the type that checks blind spots while, you know, turning my shoulder. It's just been a habit, and I always do. And if I try to look over to my right, for example, It's the C-pillar right there. You can see it's blocked in by the seat. It's a really thick C-pillar as well. It's kind of hard to see. And even with the left side, I can always do this. It's better, obviously, like it usually is on any car, but it's still, you know, kind of more difficult to see compared to like a sedan, for example. Everything else though, is pretty great. It's great on gas, man. You take it off your sport mode and just drive normally and don't give it a lot of gas all the time, you can get unreal mileage from it. So that's also a good thing as well. Other than that though, you know, right now it's not on sport mode and it's not too bumpy. You do get a lot of exterior noise when you're at higher speeds, but that's kind of to be expected. It's not, you know, a premium luxury vehicle where it's, you know, soundproofed everywhere. So that's not what they do here, but yeah. But everything else is pretty decent in here, and you know, for what you pay for, I think it's a pretty solid choice for those that want a performance-oriented vehicle without having to spend too much money, and just something fun, you know, and something that you could use for practical things. One thing I forgot to mention was the cargo capacity. It is super puny, like super puny. I'll show you a shot right now, but not a whole lot of usable space. But hey, if you're getting the coupe, you already know that. So just thought I'd mention that out there. But anyways, I'm done talking about the driving. Final thing that I personally love about the SI, especially now, the pricing. It is affordable for what it provides and the quality it provides. It could be, you know, if you get it a few years, you know, older, if you get a few years older model, it can be even cheaper. And for the amount of money you pay compared to everything else that we see, it's pretty darn, you know, usable. You don't have to break the bank to have, you know, a little bit of fun in this car. So that's kind of the third thing I would say I personally love. And for those that don't like the pricing, hey, you know what? There's also other options that are great out there too. Specifically the new Elantra Nline. That's looking very hot. Hopefully I can get my hands on one of those. I can show you what it looks like. But everything else though, man, like, it's great. I personally love the car. Now, I hope you enjoyed the video. Take it easy. Peace. See you in the next one. If you liked it, make sure you smash that thumbs up button. Peace.